Good morning, everybody, and it is Friday again. Fantastic. So, we are obviously writing a persuasive leaflet all about VPA and about how fantastic Village Primary Academy is. We are linking this to our book Wonder, which I hope that you are all reading at home. And the whole point of it is to imagine that we are trying to persuade children to come to Village Primary Academy. We know how scary it is to join a new school. So obviously we want to make our school sound as fantastic as possible. Today's lesson, the focus is relative clauses. Nothing new. Okay, we've done this all before. You should all be very, very good at writing relative clauses now and understand the structure of those. I'll run over it just in case you're not sure. This here is our success criteria. The blue represents our main clause, and we know that when we use relative clauses, we cut our main clause in half. Okay, we split it in half. And what we do is we use pieces of punctuation to sort of insert a little bit of added information. That information is about a noun, okay? So here there will be a noun, and we are writing information about the noun, okay? So, VPA. So VPA is our noun, which is the best school in Derby. I'm not going to be able to fit it in, which is the best, you know what I mean, best school in Derby is large. Very, very bad sentence. Please don't write that. But I don't have much room, unfortunately. So VPA, which is the best school in Derby, is large. So VPA is our noun. That could be a whole sentence. So you can extend that. But here there has to be a noun. And the relative clause describes the noun. Okay. And I know that some of you have a little chant from year 5. So a noun, a comma, a who, where, which, where, and a comma. And that's absolutely fine. You can use that. That will help you. But sometimes we might not choose to use a comma. Sometimes we might use dashes. Dashes make me very happy because they're on the year 6 curriculum. So I get to tick something off in your books to say you can do it. But also you might be able to use brackets. So what I'd like you to do is you've got 3 tasks. You've got 2 SATs questions and then a very, very quick underlining task underneath that. If you haven't done these tasks yet, I want you to pause the video. So pause my lovely voice. And I want you to have a go. So you can either do them on paper or you can do them on the document that you're working on, whether that is PowerPoint or whether that is PDF. That's no worries at all. But please don't keep watching the video if you haven't done these tasks. You need to pause me now because I'm going to go through the answers. So I'm hoping that everybody now who's listening has done the 3 tasks in front of them. I'm going to go through the answers. So the first one says, complete the sentence below with a relative clause. Remember to punctuate your answer correctly. So I'm just going to use a text just because it's that much easier for me to do. So it says, his sister, something, something, is learning to speak Russian. Okay, his sister, something, something, is learning to speak Polish. I think I said Russian then. I don't know where Russian came from. His sister, so we need a relative pronoun. So his sister, it's going to be who is, I'm going to go for who is 18 years old, and we need a comma to close that piece of information. There's already a comma here, so it has to match. There's my comma. This is my relative pronoun. Okay, so his sister is learning to speak Polish. I can take out this piece of information and it still makes sense. His sister is learning to speak Polish. His sister, who is 18 years old, is learning to speak Polish. His sister is learning to speak Polish. That's your blue. Cut it in halves. Insert a bit of extra information. His sister, who is 18 years old, is learning to speak Polish. And the sister is the noun. So we're describing the noun, giving extra information about that. Underline the relative clause in the sentence below. So let's have a look. I'm going to highlight it. The old house that is next to our school is for sale. So I'm asking you which bit of this text doesn't belong. Which bit is added in, okay? Which is added into a bit to add an extra piece of information. So I know straight away that that is my relative pronoun. That means that my relative clause is going to come after it. So the old house that is next to our school, okay, is for sale. So if I was going to put some sort of punctuation around that, I could add brackets, or I could have added dashes, okay? But all I wanted you to do really was underline it, okay? So the house that is next to our school is for sale. The main clause, the blue, is the house is for sale. The old house is for sale. And the yellow bit has just been added, it's been slotted in there, okay, out of nowhere. So next part then, it says underline the relative pronouns and add the appropriate punctuation into the sentences. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to highlight all of the relative pronouns to start us off. So our relative pronouns are up here in purple to help us if we can't remember them. So the brilliant teachers who strive for excellence in every lesson are always there to support the children. So who is my relative pronoun? Village is lucky enough to have a relatively new building, which means the classrooms are light and airy. Okay, so I'll go for which. At Village, the children who will welcome you with open arms are hardworking and caring. So who is my relative pronoun? During the time at Village, you will go on lots of brilliant trips that are planned and carried out safely by experienced staff members. That is my relative pronoun. So your next job then was to add in some punctuation. So there was a range of punctuation that you could have used here. So the first one, we're going to use brackets. So I know that we're going to use commas, sorry. My commas need to go around my relative clause. So the brilliant teachers who strive for excellence in every lesson. Okay, comma. So a comma there and a comma there. So this here is my subordinating conjunction, subordinating clause. It's my relative clause. It's my yellow. I can pick it up and pull it out. I don't actually need it to make my sentence make sense. Next one, we're going to use dashes. So Village is lucky enough to have a relatively new building, which means the classrooms are light and airy. I'm going to put a dash here. So I want you to think now, would I need a dash at the end? I'm hoping you're all screaming and shouting at the screen and saying, no, Miss Evans, we 100% do not need a dash at the end because it's the end of the sentence. It's a full stop. So we don't need a dash unless there is going to be writing after it. So just one dash is fine. At Village, the children who will welcome you with open arms are hardworking and caring. So who, that's the beginning because we've got our relative pronoun. We always have a relative pronoun at the beginning. We're going to use brackets this time. Who will welcome you with open arms is the end. So I close my brackets. So who will welcome you with open arms? Okay, so that is my relative clause. During your time at Village, you will go on lots of brilliant trips that are planned and carried out safely by experienced staff members. So we're going to use brackets again here just because I want to show you something. So if I put a bracket around this, do I now need to have a bracket at the end? I hope you're all screaming yes at the TV or at your computer or your iPad. The answer is yes. So when we have a bracket, we have to close our brackets. Unlike dashes, okay, we can't have a dash and then a full stop. That is not allowed, okay? However, we can have a bracket and a full stop after it, okay? So if you have a bracket, they come as pairs. They are best friends, they are brothers and sisters, they are whatever you want to call them, twins. They cannot be separated at all. They have to be together. So if you have a bracket at the beginning, you need to have a bracket at the end, and you need to make sure that your full stop is on the outside, okay? Hope you got all those correct. Right, next task then. So yes, you are doing a lot of writing for us. Yes, you are doing quite a bit of writing paragraphs, but it's so important that we build up that stamina and that you remember to use your cursive handwriting, because there is a chance that we might be back at school very, very, very soon. And we are going to be doing a lot of work, a lot of writing. So build up that stamina now, keep using cursive handwriting, and make sure you're using that wrist and those hands so that you're obviously not losing what we've taught you. So your task is to write a detailed paragraph explaining why Village is the best school in Derby. Imagine you are persuading a stranger that VPA is better than any other school in the area. Make sure you use Year 6 punctuation. Use a range of relative clauses in your writing, and use a challenge is to use subordinating conjunctions too. If you want to challenge yourself, I'd be expecting maybe a semicolon in there as well. I would definitely be looking for some fronted adverbials from my expected writers. So if you know that you are an expected writer, if you know that you are working where you need to be, I would definitely be having a go at using adverbs at the beginning of your sentences, please, to vary those sentence openers, okay? The difference here is we're not using I. Okay, so we're not using I, so we're coming away from the I. I'd also like you to please try to use formal language, okay? So we are trying our hardest to make sure that we are writing in formal language. So you should be using formal language when you are writing your sentences, okay? So let's have a little go together so I can start you off and then it gives you an idea. So I'm going to say village primary academy. Ooh. What do you notice about village primary academy? I hope you can all see very easily that it has to have capital letters. So village primary academy, comma, which is a large primary school. Sorry, having a moment. Primary school, comma. Okay, so there's my relative clause. So I've already hit one of my relative clauses. So village primary, which is village primary academy, which is a large primary school, is situated in the center of Derby. Derby needs to have a capital letter, okay? It is believed to be one of the best schools in the area, okay? This is due to the outstanding teachers and dedicated students. Full stop. Okay, so I'm using formal language to help me to describe Village Primary Academy, but I'm not saying I love Derby or I think it's this. We are not using the word I. So my next task would be to try and use a subordinating conjunction. And if you can't remember subordinating conjunctions, go back to yesterday's lesson because they're all on here. They're all there, okay? So let's have a look. Go back. So let's have a look. So so you could write something like as the school is relatively as the school I'm going to put as the school building is new, and then I'm going to put it was built in 2008. Okay, so I've used dashes to add a bit of parenthesis. As the school building is new, comma, actually we'll get rid of that and we'll go for as the school building is new, the classrooms are very light and airy. Building, or the, trying to think of another word for school, let's just go for school. The school was built in 2008, which means that something's always something. Okay, so you can finish that off. It's quite hard to write and talk and record all at the same time. Sorry about that. So you are writing me a detailed paragraph explaining why Village is the best school in Derby, but we're not using I. So that's where this task is different to the other task. This time, I want you to have a go at not writing it from your perspective, not an I, take you out of it and have a go at writing it from that third perspective, okay? So as in you're looking in. So Village Primary Academy, which is a large primary school situated in the centre of Derby. It is believed to be one of the best schools in the area. This is due to the outstanding teachers and dedicated students. As the school building is new, the classrooms are very light and airy. The school was built in 2008, which means that what? You could say the interior is extremely modern, or that they have lots of up-to-date tech or technology. So you're thinking about what makes Village Primary the best school in Derby, not using the word I. So I'm very much looking forward to hearing some of your paragraphs. Again, you can write them on paper or you can type them. As a year group, we much prefer it when you write things on paper because it's very good for your stamina to keep that wrist movements and actually holding a pen, because it has been a long time since you've had to do that. So it's good to get that practice in. But make sure you do send any work that you have done, please, to your teachers on Purple Mash or on Dojo. And I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. Thank you for working so hard.